So I can't believe that I'm saying this on the internet, but here I am. But anyway, I just want to kind of go into a little bit about what I've been dealing with in the last 24 hours. And the reason that I feel just the need to share this on this channel is because of what I want this channel to be about. I want to share videos of my experiences with being a mom. I want to share videos about my experience in dating. And I want to share, videos just about my journey through my own mental health and, just kind of going through all of those things, trying to be a mom and trying to have a love life and a personal life outside of having kids. And so that's really, really important to me. There's so many different layers to me. There's so many different sides and aspects to me. And I feel like for you, it's the same way. So I feel like it may be something that you can relate to. So what I'm experiencing right now may be something that you have gone through or is going through. And I just want to I want to be of service to those who might feel that they need some guidance through this. So without further ado, I'm just going to get right into it. So basically, what happened to me last night was the guy that I had been talking to for the past 5 months just suddenly ended it with me. And I hate to call it a breakup because we weren't in a relationship. It was not officially anything. But I was under the impression that we were working towards that goal. Like we both seem to be on the same page with that. So it is kind of shocking to me. However, there was some signs throughout the relationship that kind of, I wouldn't say that I ignored, but there was some signs that I saw and I decided to just kind of ignore, I guess. I ignored them. Um, because I liked the person and because I was in denial about what I was seeing. And that's also typical for people to go through, and to do when we're dealing with these ninjas. So basically, I just want to kind of go through how I feel right now. I feel at the moment, my current feelings are that I still feel heartbroken. I know it just happened, but the thing is with me, I have gone through these things multiple times. This isn't my first rodeo with rejection. Usually I'm the one doing the rejection, so I'm kind of looking at this thing every time these things happen with me on this side of it. I look at it like where I've done my fair share of breaking hearts. So whenever my heart gets broken, I kind of look at it like, well, it happened to me. I've done it to people. So who am I to feel like I shouldn't ever get my heart broken when I've done the heartbreaking before? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But it does suck. I just kind of feel really sad about it. I think I'm going through the phase right now where I'm just picking myself apart, thinking of all the things that I did wrong or thinking of all the things that I could have did better. Or just trying to get into his headspace to see what was wrong with me. And that is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do to yourself and to take yourself through those motions. But that is part of the process. It's something that we all do. So I just want to be just really forthcoming with it and, acknowledge that that is something that I'm going through, even though I know better than to do that. It's still something that we do. And like I said, I just want to be very transparent about it. I just want to give a little bit of background about how I met this person and, how we came to start dating. So right now I work at a casino, and he was a player that would come in, not every night, but he would come in, 2 or 3 times a week to play for a few hours, and then he would go. He was definitely one of those people that we all knew because he was a good tipper. And he didn't catch my attention physically right away because he probably had been there several times and I never noticed them. So it wasn't like the physical qualities that caught my eye. And it's kind of crazy for me because I am a physical qualities type of person. Well, I was. I think I'm growing out of that now. But I've always been into the aesthetics of what a man looks like. That has always been attractive to me. Like if they take care of themselves, if they work out, if they, just kind of uh, take time, on themselves, because I'm the type of person that cares a great deal of what I look like. So those are qualities that I've always admired in a person. But as I get older, and especially with this situation that I just went through, it allowed me to not care as much, because I found that I can fall in love with someone who isn't, of that, top 10% aesthetic. So yeah. But I met him at work. And I think that over time, he would just start talking to me every time I had interactions with him. And the good thing about him is he started to ask about my kids initially. He asked about my tattoo. This tattoo right here says, "Love is a journey," and that is my oldest daughter's name. But my uniform kind of covers up the journey part. So a lot of people will ask, "Oh, what does that say? Love is a," you know, and that's kind of how um, we started talking, is because he asked about my tattoo. That led to him, finding out that I had kids. That led to him finding out my age, and me finding out a little bit more about him, because that's always, I think, the big thing with me when I'm interested in someone or someone's interested in me, is that they don't know how old I am. A lot of people think I'm a lot younger than I actually am. So if I'm interested in someone, sometimes I have to kind of let them know that I am a certain age, just so that they can have that green light a little bit, to, be interested. Because if it's an older man, if he's a proper older man, he's not really checking for the really young women. And if they don't know how old I am, they may be attracted to me, but they won't try to talk to me because they think that I'm a lot younger than I actually am. But once I tell them my age, then they feel a little bit more comfortable pursuing me, if that makes sense. But just kind of getting back into how we met, we just kind of met at the casino. We started talking, through brief interactions. And at that point, he found me on Facebook. I guess that was his way of just kind of taking it a step further. I accepted his friend request, and he asked me out on a date on Facebook. At that time, I was kind of coming out of a different situation, another situation, and I wasn't ready to start dating. And I just kind of brushed him off. I declined the date offer. I told him it wasn't a good idea. He asked if he could take me to either coffee or dinner, and I declined. No, I think initially he asked me if he could take me to dinner. I declined. Maybe a week later, he asked me once again if he could take me to dinner or even coffee. And at that point, I agreed, because I was thinking a coffee date will be more proper, and, it wasn't too serious. And like I said, I was just kind of coming out of something. So I didn't want to jump into anything right away. I just felt like that was the proper way to go as far as having a coffee date. And so we decided that I think he at some point asked me to do a steak dinner with him instead. And when he said steak dinner, I didn't decline the steak dinner. I just was kind of like, okay, who doesn't want a steak dinner? So he definitely reeled me in. He was a very persistent man. I think it was like 2 weeks that he was trying to pursue me. And I finally agreed to actually having a dinner, which was a steak dinner. But our first date ended up not being our first official date and meetup wasn't actually the steak dinner. It actually ended up being a hockey game. And I was only there for a couple of hours, but we had the hockey game, or I went to the hockey game to meet him, and I got really good vibes from him. And he just seemed like an overall nice guy, and I started to find that I was attracted to him. And so for me, I knew that that was like a really great idea to meet him um, pre first date, because it allowed me to not have as many jitters for our first date, which was the steak dinner. And so also just a little bit of background about him and who he is. I'm not going to reveal who he is, obviously, but as far as like the type of person and the type of men that I usually date. I just kind of went over with you like the aesthetic of the type of man that I date. I love athletes. I love that kind of build. If you're a football player or a basketball player, like I love that. I, and I did, like I said, as I get older, it's something that is not, at the forefront of my mind. I'm finding that I can be into many different types of men, because I'm attracted now to different qualities, I think. And I'm learning that through this past experience that I've had. But anyway, I will say that this person is a retired athlete, and he's been retired for some time. I want to say 10 years. So he's not necessarily built like an athlete anymore. However, that wasn't the initial attraction, was that the fact that he was an athlete. The attraction for me was just that he had a kind spirit, really, really gentle, very much a gentleman. And those are qualities that I look for in a man. And he presented that to me right away. And so the first date at the hockey game was very nice. I had then decided that I definitely wanted to have, the second date with him, at the steakhouse. And so when we did that steakhouse date, it went really, really well. That's when I was just kind of taking in some more data about him and kind of getting to know him. And once again, I had no like issues. Like, it seemed like he was a really nice guy. I felt very positive about him, and that was the beginning of our time together. After that, he started to show me that he was just how great of a person he was. Like, I found that he's the type of person that would just give me the shirt off his back. I was going through a really hard time these past few months. I would say from January up until recently. I was having a really, really hard time. Mentally, I was going through a lot of things just as a man. I felt very overwhelmed, very anxious, but I was continuing to date him through that process because I seen the potential of what we were going to be and what we could be once I got on the other side. I try my best to not let him see that side of things. I've been doing that for a long time, but you know, and I don't know if he ever did, if he saw, that I was struggling or that I was going through things, but we continued to see each other, and we just didn't discuss. I'd never discussed my issues with people. And that is something that I'm working on. I don't think that that's necessarily healthy to not discuss things with people that I'm dating, but that's just not something that I do. But he did know a little bit about things that I was going through. And he was always so helpful. He was always so helpful. Like I said, he would give me the shirt off his back every time I had a situation happen. Like, my car engine went out a couple of months ago. Like, he came to help me with that. He was very active in helping me find another car. Like, he was just like Superman to me. Like, he just helped me so much and came to my rescue. And that was not something that I ever experienced, from a man. Also, oh, I'm sorry, I got way off, but I was telling you about like him aesthetically. He wasn't the most fit person or the most attractive man, but he was attractive to me. I was very, very much attracted to him. And to make things even kind of more interesting, he's a white man, and I'd never dated a white man before. I've always dated black men. I'm a culture girl. Like, I love being black. I love, black men. I love black everything. But when he came to pursue me, I wasn't looking at him like he was a white man. I was looking at him like he was a man, because he did a really, really good job at building up the interest on his side before asking me on a date. So we had like a little miniature little friendship going before he asked me out. And before he even asked me out, I started to have a crush on him. And, I think we were both crushing on each other. So that kind of made it even more sweet when he asked me out, but I still wasn't ready. I was definitely very much not ready. But anyway, so that was just different for me, just kind of dating outside of my race. And also, what I loved about the relationship is that we did a lot of different things. Like, um, I do think that Black people are doing a good job at kind of trying more things outside of what Black people are known to do. And you can argue with me all day long about, us being so diverse in so many ways, but that is a very new thing for Black people to start doing things outside of our comfort zone. And there's still a good percentage of us who are still kind of stuck in our ways of, things that Black people do. And that is very, very true. However, I would say for me, for the most part, I've gotten out of that a long time ago, but I was still kind of stuck in that mindset when it came to dating. I was very much still like, I'm only dating Black men. And I think dating this person that I dated, gave me a whole different perspective on dating outside of my race, and I'm no longer afraid to date outside of my race. And I would say, as of now, I no longer have a preference, a color preference. Um, I am okay with dating, different types of men. And I think that that's something that I love for myself, considering that I had this one bad experience with this man outside of my race, but I don't necessarily see it as a completely bad experience. I see it as the beginning of a chance for me to explore with that more, if that makes sense. So some of the positive, I kind of went over the positives about the time that I spent with him. He was a really great guy. When I was with him, time just slowed down. He made me feel like a princess. I don't know what it's like to have a soft girl life, but I kind of had a glimpse into that with him. Didn't let me do much. He did everything when we were around. Even when I would be spending time at his house, there would be times that he needed something from the kitchen, and I would offer to get up and go get it, and he would not let me. Like, he was just amazing. And I do feel really, really sad that we are no longer talking and that he is going to go a different route. But that was my positive experience. So I just now want to get into some of the negatives, some of the so-called red flags that I saw and I ignored. So one of the first ones initially that I saw was that we only, outside of our steak dinner and maybe a few like morning hikes that we took around his house, we didn't do anything outside of that. He wasn't asking me to go places. He wasn't asking me on dates um, anymore. We would just spend time at his home. Now, he wasn't afraid of like taking me out of the house, and like there was people in his life that he introduced me to. I met his kids, but we weren't really actively like dating at some point after the first month, and that bothered me. But I didn't have a conversation about it, and that's on me. It's on him too, but I want to take the blame in that situation, because I am supposed to be doing better with expressing things that I don't like when I talk to people, things that bother me, so that we can kind of discuss it and go from there. And I didn't bring up that that was something that bothered me. Um, and then the other things that I started to notice was that when we weren't together, I didn't hear from him. Like, and I'm not the type of female that's texting you all the time, like being clingy. Like, I honestly don't have time for that. I have kids. There's no way that I'm able to be clingy with a man. There's no way that I can have the expectation that he's going to spend every night with me. I just don't have those expectations. So I'm not the type of woman that's texting you all the time and acting all needy and clingy and things like that. So I didn't. However, he didn't reach out at all when we weren't together. And then I started to notice that the only time that we would actually see each other is if I see him at work, and then he would see me, and then he would invite me over or invite me to come do something, with him. And so that started to bother me, that, okay, I thought that was weird that he would just show up, you know, and he was a customer before he was somebody that I started dating, but I just thought it was weird that he would just show up to my job without any sort of like heads up text, like, oh, hey, I'm coming by tonight, or hey, I'm coming by the casino. Can't wait to see you. Or are you working tonight? I'm thinking about stopping by, like something like that. Like, it was just weird that he would just pop up. So, okay. And then, like I said, then he would see me, and then he would invite me over after, like, oh, what are you doing after work? Type of thing. So it bothered me that there were no plans made. And I know better. If a man is serious about you, he is going to make plans. He is going to treat you like the classy lady that you are. He is going to prioritize you. He's going to look ahead on his calendar and see what he can do to progress this relationship. And I wasn't getting that at first. And so one of the things that kind of kept me going and kept me around despite these things is that he would randomly do that though. So for instance, there was a period of time that I went like, I don't know, 3 weeks or so without hearing from him, seeing him or hearing from him. And at that point, I started to pull back, and I was like, I'm not entertaining this person anymore, because I think it's great that when we're together, we are amazing. But when he doesn't see me, I don't exist. Like, that's not okay. Because at the end of the day, regardless of my busy schedule, I'm still the type of female that needs some sort of attention. Like, I need you to acknowledge me at some point, to check in on me, because at that point I don't feel like you like me or you care about me. And so that's what was happening. So I pulled back. So then once again, I seen him randomly at my job, and then he sees me, and then he wants to see me once again. Like a simp, I go and I go see him that night. And then after that night, things kind of like flipped the script, where he started making plans with me. He wanted to take me out of town. He asked me on a trip. He wanted to meet my kids. He arranged for us to hang out that weekend so that we can all of our kids can meet. So he started to actively make changes to let me know that he was serious about me. So I started to feel like, okay, well, whatever he was going through before, maybe he was seeing someone else, maybe he was working so hard, maybe he was just actually really busy. I don't know. Because, like I said, for me, I don't care what I got going on. If I like somebody, I'm going to prioritize them. They say we make time for the people that we want to make time for. And I wasn't feeling that from him. So my mind started to draw all kind of conclusions. But whatever he was going through, he seemed to have, turned a leaf. So that was like me getting a little bit more excited again. He was drawing me back in and pulling me back into his web. Now, mind you, this was like 2 weeks ago when he says, I want to meet your kids. Let's arrange a date for them to all meet. And I want to invite you to a golf tournament in Palm Springs to spend time with me for 5 days. So any woman would think, okay, great, that sounds amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this might actually be going somewhere. And so that's what I was under the impression of. So that weekend, we actually have a family date with all the kids. It was great. The kids went golfing. We did dirt bike riding. He gave me like a tour of his little town that he lived in. Um, we were able to spend some quiet time with each other when the kids were away. It was just a whole amazing date. They barbecued for us. We ate. We played board games. Like, it was really the best, sweetest time. And I was just in love after that, like completely, like ready to just kind of fall for this man. And not to mention, we still had plans to go to Palm Springs in a week and a half. So I was also so excited for that. Started to like buy outfits and things like that. So then what happened is, maybe about 5 days before, I started to not hear from him again. He went MIA. And then I reached out to him because I was like, at this point, let me see if we're still going on this trip. So I sent him a text and I said, hey, um, are we still doing Palm Springs this weekend? Because I just want to make sure that I confirm these dates with my job. And it was kind of a long paragraph of what I sent, just kind of making sure that we were still doing that. And he didn't respond. He didn't respond. I didn't reach back out. The dates of the trip came and went, and there was nothing ever sent to me. And so I actually didn't hear from him again until last night. And that's when he sent me a text. And basically, the text was saying that he wanted to talk about something important. Basically, saying that although he loved the time that we spent together, he met someone else recently and they connect on, a deeper level. They share the same goals and aspirations and all these things, blah, blah, blah. Kind of just went blank after that. And although he is pursuing that right now, he really enjoyed our time together, and that he thinks that I'm a beautiful person, beautiful soul. All these things, he is taking that route. When I seen that message, I instantly, my heart dropped. Number one, like, let's be real, like, he did a really good job at drawing me in just to push me away, I feel like. But I also know that that's normal, that's common in men. That's what a lot of them do. I don't know if he really is pursuing someone else or if he just got scared. I think he really did pursue and meet someone else. I don't think it was recent. I do think that he met this person a long time ago, and maybe she was giving him mixed feelings. And finally, he's getting a green light from her. So now he's ready to pursue her fully. And I think that that's why I never really had the chance. Maybe he could just not have been really interested in me. I don't actually know. But it's not my job to try to figure out what his mindset is and what, like, I don't even want to do that to myself. But I will say, like, it was very heartbreaking for me. It wasn't shocking. I saw it coming. I did let him know that. I did respond to him, and I said that I did kind of get that feeling that that's what he had going on. I did communicate that he gave me a lot of mixed signals and that did bother me. It left me confused. Um, but I also told him that I didn't really need to elaborate on everything. I just wanted to make sure that he knew that we could have actually been great together. I had to throw that in there. But yeah, I didn't want to just flat out just tell him that he made a mistake and that he's gonna regret this and stuff like that. I didn't want to do that. So I just did my best to, send a respectful response. I just kind of, left it at, thanks for letting me know. Thanks for the closure. I wish you the best. Although you did give me mixed signals and it was very confusing, I would have let this go a long time ago had you been a little bit more communicative. And I think my issue is that he really said that this new person that he has built this connection with is very recent. And I don't believe that. I think that it started sooner, but then at the same time, I do think it could have been very recent because I think that he probably would have ended it sooner if he had started interacting with this person a long time ago. I do think he started interacting with the person a long time ago, but I think it's just now getting to that serious point. So now he's ready to end it with me because I no longer serve a purpose in his life. And that's fine. But I just wish he would have been a little bit more forthcoming and open about that a long time ago. I just don't think it's fair for us to date and then we not communicate, with each other up front on if we're also um, dating other people. Um, because for me, normally I keep a roster. Like when I tell y'all, I do not play about my roster. I make sure that I have, at least one or two other people that I talk to when I'm dating one person. And I do that because when I'm going through the dating process, it actually increases, a good person to, you know, um, settle down with. And also it helps me to, if one ninja start acting up, I still got two more ninjas. And then also my feelings are in different places. So I don't have to have all of my eggs in one bucket, or basket or whatever. But that's another video I'll go into about why it's important to have a roster because men have rosters. And I definitely think that as women, we need to too. That's how men protect themselves and their feelings. And we need to be doing that as well. But this time I didn't because, like I said, I was just kind of coming out of a serious kind of relationship. So I didn't have a roster. Like I had let, everybody that I was talking to go. Um, and he was the only person that I was talking to. So I think this one hit really, really hard because he was the only person that I was talking to. So all of my feelings was with him. Um, he had built up this idea or this dream um, for us, and especially doing things like allowing our kids to kind of come together, allowing us to, make plans. Like he was making plans with me. Like he really made me think that he was really interested in me. So I wasn't delusional. This was how he made me feel. So my takeaways from this is right now, this actually feels like for me like a real breakup. And the reason I say that is because my heart is broken. And I now have to prepare myself to go through the steps that I take to get over a breakup, even though I wasn't in a relationship. And there's things that I do to get through this. And that's what I wanted to start like recording and talking to you about. I want to start posting, and I don't know how often that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to be every day. I don't know if it's going to be every other day. But every time my feelings change, I want to make a video about that, and I want to post it because I want to be of service to those who may be going through the same thing. I'm going to be making a lot of videos about things like this: how to get over a breakup, how to spot, you know, red flags, what to do with the red flags. Like, I do want to talk a lot about relationship stuff on this page because, like I said, I have so much experience with it and I know so much about how to maneuver through these types of things and what to do to bounce back. I just have so much knowledge to give you guys. But since I'm going through it right now, that was not something that I expected. I actually expected that I was going to be going into a happy, healthy relationship, um, in the next few months, but that's not happening. So now here I am going through this so-called breakup, and I just want to be transparent through this process and let you guys know how it goes. I will be making other videos on this page about different things, that I think will be great for viewers to hear. But I will be this will be kind of a series of how I'm getting through this. So that's just pretty much a little quick background. I'm sorry that the video was longer. I tried to really make this like a 15-20 minute video, but it looks like it's going to be a longer video. So I do apologize for that. But future videos, I want to try my best to keep them under 20 minutes so that I can kind of just give you guys the goods and just let you go on about your day. I don't want to hold you hostage. But anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to hear my story. I will be giving you so much more information as the days go, as the weeks go. So stay tuned. Like I said, this is something that I know is very relatable, and I hope that I can give you some good advice or that you can learn from it. I will be letting you go. So I will see you on my next video. Peace out.